There's this woman, Setsuko, 91 years old. Yeah, 91. Not alive, like lying in a bed. I mean, living. She wakes up every morning at 5:30. No alarm, never needed one. Her body just wakes her, like it still trusts the rhythm of the sun more than a clock. She steps outside, slow, steady, no rush. There's a small garden behind a house. Nothing fancy, no perfect rows, just soil, real soil. She bends down, and I mean really bends, not halfway like most of us. And with her bare hands, she pulls sweet potatoes out of the ground. Dirt gets under her nails. She doesn't care, because to her, that's not dirt. That's food. That's life. Then she goes inside, makes breakfast. No measuring cups, no calorie counting, no labels. She's never owned a weighing scale, never downloaded a health app, never once said, "I shouldn't eat this." And somehow, her body still works. Now compare that to what we see every day. People in their 60s, 70s, pill boxes lined up like a morning routine. Blood pressure, cholesterol, sugar, sleep. 4 medications, sometimes more, and still something feels off. Here's what doesn't sit right with me. It's the same human body, same bones, same blood, same biology. So why does one body keep going and the other slowly shuts down? Most people would tell you it's genetics, it's luck, it's environment. Yeah, I used to believe that too, until I saw what happens when people like her leave that life. Okinawans who moved to America or even Hawaii, they didn't stay healthy. They changed their food, and within one generation, their health changed too. Same DNA.
Different habits, different ending. So let's stop pretending this is mysterious. It's not. It's just uncomfortable. Because the truth is, it's not about what they do more of. It's about what they quietly never do at all. There was a long study, decades long. People who lived past 100, not 1 or 2, hundreds of them. And researchers kept looking for something special, a secret ingredient, a miracle food. They didn't find one. What they found instead was absence, things missing, things these people simply never made a habit. And the part that hits hardest, those same things are normal for us, daily, ordinary, almost invisible. Let me say something that might sting a little. If I walk into your kitchen right now, I can probably find at least 2 of those things, easy. And after 50, 55, these aren't harmless anymore. They don't just add weight, they quietly speed up how fast your body wears out. Not outside, inside. There's a process happening in your body right now. You can't see it, but it's there. When sugar enters your blood, it doesn't just pass through. Some of it sticks. It attaches itself to your body's structure, your skin, your joints, your blood vessels, like a slow, invisible glue.
Over time, things that were soft become stiff. Things that moved easily start resisting. Things that were clear become cloudy. Doctors call it glycation. I call it slow damage. And here's the part nobody explains properly. After 50, your body slows down. Not dramatically, but enough. Sugar stays in your system longer, which means more sticking, more damage, more silent aging. Back in the 1950s, people like Setsuko were consuming about 3 grams of added sugar a day. 3. Today, most people are somewhere between 60 to 70 grams every single day. That's not a small difference. That's a completely different lifestyle. And here's what's even more dangerous. Most of that sugar you don't even chew, you drink it. Think about today, just today. What did you drink? Coffee with flavor? Juice? Soda? Energy drink? Something labeled healthy? If even one of those had sugar, you've already crossed what they would eat in 2 days. That's the gap. That's where everything starts to break. And I know what most people do next. They say, fine, I'll switch to diet. No, that's not a solution.
That's just a cleaner disguise, because your brain still expects sweetness. The craving stays alive, nothing resets. You're still stuck, just in a different version of the same cycle. Real change feels boring at first. Water, plain tea, black coffee, simple broth, that's it. Not forever, just long enough for your body to remember what normal feels like. Give it 4 days, just 4, and something strange happens. Sweet drinks start tasting too sweet, not enjoyable, almost overwhelming. That's not a problem. That's your body waking up. You might not feel like a new person, no big transformation, but maybe that afternoon crash softens. Maybe your sleep feels slightly deeper. Small changes, but small changes repeated quietly. That's how people like her reach 90 and keep going. Now here's where most people make a mistake. They think this is enough. That's it, I fixed sugar. No, that's just the beginning, because there's another layer, and this one almost nobody talks about the right way.
We've all been told the same thing for years. Eat more protein. More protein is better, especially when you get older. Sounds logical, feels right, but after 60, your body doesn't interpret protein the same way, especially animal protein. Too much of it starts sending a signal inside your body, a growth signal. Now that sounds good until you realize that same signal is linked to faster aging and disease. The people living the longest, they weren't eating large portions of meat, not even close, sometimes just a few bites. Most of their protein came from plants, simple things, tofu, miso, beans, nothing flashy, nothing expensive. And then fast food arrived, chains opened, habits changed. Within a decade, life expectancy dropped fast. Same people, same genetics, different food, different result. That's not coincidence, that's cause.
And today, we've taken it even further. Protein powders, shakes, supplements designed for young bodies trying to build muscle, being used by people who just want to stay healthy. That mismatch, it matters more than people realize, because your body doesn't care what the label says. It responds to signals. Let me ask you something honestly. After you eat, how long before you feel hungry again? If it's quick, that's not just hunger, that's imbalance. Your body is trying to tell you something. We just stopped listening a long time ago. So now you have 2 pieces of the puzzle. Cut the constant sugar spikes. Reduce the overload of the wrong kind of protein. Simple ideas, but together they start changing something deeper. And most people never even realize they've been slowly moving in the wrong direction. I'm not saying this as advice. I'm saying this like someone who has looked back and noticed how quietly we damage ourselves while calling it normal. And the truth? We didn't even question it, but we should have. You see, by now you might be thinking, okay, cut sugar, reduce certain proteins, got it. Simple, almost too simple. But here's the thing. That's not what makes people like Setsuko live the way they do. That's just clearing the noise. What really changes everything is something so quiet, so ordinary, most people ignore it their entire lives. Even researchers almost missed it. Not because it's complicated, but because it looked
too simple to matter. There's a phrase, they say it before eating, softly, almost like a habit passed down through generations. Hara hachibu, easy breath. It means eat until you're about 80% full, not stuffed, not satisfied, just enough. And I know what you're thinking. That's it? Yeah, that's it. But listen carefully, because this is where people misunderstand it. This is not dieting. This is not restriction. This is awareness. Your body doesn't instantly know when to stop.
It takes time, about 20 minutes, for your brain to catch up with your stomach. So by the time you feel full, you've already eaten more than you needed. And if you do that every meal, every day for years, you don't notice the damage, but your body does. Now imagine this. Instead of waiting for that heavy feeling, you stop earlier, when you could eat more, but you choose not to. That small gap, that little space between enough and too much, that's where the difference lives. Over years, that becomes hundreds of fewer calories, not forced, not tracked, just naturally happening. And something incredible happens inside your body. Your cells don't stay in constant growth mode. They get time to repair, to clean, to reset. There's a process your body has. It literally clears out damaged parts inside your cells. Think of it like taking out the trash before it piles up. Most people, they never give their body that chance. Always eating, always full, always pushing. And slowly, things start breaking down. The people who live longer, they didn't follow a diet. They just never crossed that line over and over again. Now, here's where it gets uncomfortable again. Because today, we've created shortcuts. Appetite suppressants, pills, injections, lose weight without feeling hungry. Sounds perfect, right? No struggle, no discipline. But here's the truth. Those things don't teach your body anything. They silence it. You stop feeling hunger, but you also stop understanding it. There's a difference between I could eat more and I need more. And if you never learn that difference, you lose something important, because eventually you stop the supplement. Everyone does. And when hunger comes back, it doesn't come back gently. It comes back louder, more confusing, harder to control. What Okinawans built wasn't a shortcut, it was a skill. They stayed connected to their body. They didn't override it. Now remember, I told you earlier, there's one thing found in every place where people live the longest. Not a pill, not a trend, something almost nobody talks about. This is it. Fermented food. Yeah, not exciting, no flashy marketing, but it shows up everywhere. Okinawa, miso, natto, fermented tofu. Sardinia, aged cheese. Ikaria, fermented dairy. Nicoya, fermented corn. Different places, same pattern. And only recently, we started understanding why. Inside your body, there's an entire world, trillions of bacteria. Not bad, not good, just necessary. And the more diverse that system is, the better your body functions. Stronger immunity, lower inflammation, better digestion, slower aging. Fermented foods feed that system. They keep it alive, balanced. And when that balance is right, everything else works better. There was a study, just 10 weeks. People added real fermented foods, and inflammation dropped significantly. Not years, weeks.
But here's the catch. It has to be real. Not sugary kombucha, not processed versions sitting on shelves for months. Real miso, real yogurt with live cultures, real kimchi, real fermented food. Just one serving a day. That's it. Now step back for a second and look at the full picture. Not complicated, not extreme. You remove constant sugar spikes so your body doesn't stiffen from the inside. You stop overloading it with the wrong kind of protein so it doesn't stay in constant growth mode. You eat a little less than full so your system gets time to repair, and you feed your gut daily so everything stays balanced. Individually, these seem small. Together, they multiply. That's the part people miss. This is not a checklist, it's a system. And systems quietly shape your life over time.
That's why a 91-year-old woman can still walk outside, bend down, and pull food from the ground with her bare hands. Not because she did something extreme, but because she never stopped doing the simple things for decades. Meanwhile, we measure everything, track everything, optimize everything, and still feel like something's missing. Maybe we've been looking in the wrong direction. So don't overthink this. Don't try to change everything overnight. Tonight, just one thing. Whatever you usually drink with dinner, replace it. Water, tea, something plain. That's it. Not a big step, but it's a real one. And sometimes that's all it takes to start shifting the direction. Because in the end, this isn't about living forever. It's about reaching a point in life where your body still feels like it belongs to you and not something you're constantly trying to fix. Tell me honestly, which one feels easiest to start? Cutting the sugar, changing the protein, or adding something fermented? I'll read it, every one, because sometimes just saying it out loud is where change begins.